Metal Jesus here, and I'm back again with another pickups video. These are games I've added to my collection over the last couple months. And just so you know, I've done 24 of these videos so far. And at the end of each one, I always think, man, how am I gonna top that? You know, every video just seems to have so many great games. But the thing is, I keep a list of sort of my dream games or my bucket list games. And this video has many of those games I've been looking for years. And it's come to me from a combination of generous people who've donated and just sent me games, which is really awesome. So I'm gonna show some of those. And I recently flew to Texas, which is over 2,000 miles away from Seattle, and got an amazing collection off of Craigslist. You guys are gonna love this. It's a mix of a bunch of different systems, a ton of games. Let's get started. So right off the bat, I'm gonna go big. And I met up with a guy locally, his name is Phil, and he donated a bunch of games to me, including a special edition that I've been looking for a while. This thing is so massive. It's for the Xbox 360. It is a special edition of Bioshock 2. I've been looking for this for quite a while. I actually kicked myself for not buying it when it was originally out. Now, what's amazing about this is that it comes with something I love, and that is actual vinyl records. Yes, the soundtrack is included in this on vinyl. And you guys know I'm a huge fan of music and a huge fan of vinyl, and so he gave this to me. In addition to that, it also comes with an Art Deco book with a bunch of stuff from the game. It comes with posters. It also comes with the soundtrack on a CD and so much more. This is a great addition to my game. So excited to have it. Thanks, Phil. Another local collector here in the Seattle area was looking to get rid of a bunch of his big box Sierra games and wanted to know if I wanted them. And his name is Steve. I met up with him and I was so excited to get these. So many cool games in here. Well, I'm gonna start off with The Adventures of Willy Beamish. Now this is the Amiga version here. And Willy Beamish was created by Dynamics, which was a subsidiary of Sierra down in Eugene, Oregon, and created just some amazing games back in the day. Willy Beamish is, it's almost a kid's game, but it's also an adventure game. And a lot of people like me just really found it incredibly charming. And it's cool to have this back in my collection. But that's not all. He also had a bunch of Space Quests. So Space Quest 1, again, this is for the Amiga. Very cool. Space Quest 2, here we go, and Space Quest 3. And there was a bunch of other Sierra games in that lot, but I just kind of wanted to show you just some of the highlights here. So thanks again, Steve. You guys know that I like collecting for the Sony PSP, and thankfully during the holidays, GameStop was having a bunch of sales, including a buy two, get one free. So I went to a bunch of their stores and found some games that either I didn't already own, or maybe I needed to kind of replace a crappy manual or something like that. So I'm just gonna go through these really quickly here. Dungeon Siege, Throne of Agony. I've heard good things about this. This is a game I'm not even gonna try to pronounce. Rengoku, The Tower of Purgatory. I think there's two of these games on the PSP. One of these was, I believe, a launch title. The Gradius Collection. This is a game that we highlighted with Reggie on a Hidden Gems video, so I finally have that in my collection. I love racing games. Here is Rush. I don't know if this is any good or not, but again, for a couple bucks, why not? First person shooter, Brother in Arms, D-Day on the PSP. Kingdom of Paradise. I believe this is a role-playing game or maybe a fighting game. I have no idea, but you know, again, when you pay $1 or $2, I'll add it. And then two games I have highlighted previously on my channel, but I didn't have good covers for them, and that is the Untold Legends, the Warriors Code, and then also Brothers of the Blade. These are basically collection kind of improvements or upgrades. Also, I mentioned Phil, that gamer that donated the Bioshock 2 collection to me. Well, he also gave me a couple Initial D games I didn't own. These are imports from Japan, and I guess it'll play on my PSP, which is really cool. So it's Initial D Street Stage. And he also gave me a PlayStation 2 game as well. And speaking of handhelds, I recently had a gamer party at my house, invited a bunch of friends over, and Reggie came. You guys know Reggie from my channel. He's been on a bunch of videos. He's so funny. Every time he shows up, he always palms me a game. I don't know why he does that. It's so, I mean, I'm not complaining, you know, don't get me wrong. But he always palms me a game that he knows I want, and he palmed me the Neo Geo Pocket Color game called Metal Slug Second Mission. Yeah, it's very funny. He just kind of did that and, you know, slyly, you know, under the radar. It was pretty cool. He did that. So for those that don't know, this version of Metal Slug is designed specifically for this. It's all new. It's not a remake or anything like that, or a port. It's all new for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. And Reggie's a huge fan of that handheld, so thanks, Reggie. I recently got a new game for the Xbox 360, and that is a music rhythm game called Bandfuse Rock Legends. Now, the thing about this game is that unlike Rock Band, in Bandfuse, you can use a real instrument and play it normally, and either learn how to play guitar if you're brand new to the instrument, or like me, you've been playing for a long time and you can perhaps improve your skills or play along with songs that you already know. And I gotta tell you, I was a little skeptical when I first got this, because I was like, I don't know, you know, hopefully the tracking will be decent, and, you know, can you really play? And the answer is yeah. I mean, I've had a ton of fun with this, playing some amazing songs in a bunch of different tunings, drop D, down a quarter step, down I think even down to C, stuff like that. So had a ton of fun with this. I'm really surprised how well it works. A lot of people have asked me, you know, can you learn to play guitar with this? And I think the answer is absolutely yes, because you can put this on stupid easy mode and play as slow as you like. As a matter of fact, for me, when I play this, I have to actually put it on either hard or expert, and that's not the most difficult setting, but anyways, and so I think it's designed for a lot of people. The only thing I would say is that there's another game out there called Rocksmith. And I think Rocksmith is technically the more popular version of these kind of games, and I haven't played that one, and I would really like to. I think that probably offers maybe a little bit more as far as mini games and things like that. But for a brand new title, I was really impressed with this. I had a lot of fun. I've mentioned my buddy Matt on this channel many times, primarily because he helps me post my videos on evilavatar.com, but also he is a fellow big box PC collector, and we recently did a trade, and he sent me over some really great stuff, including the original Wing Commander. Wing Commander, back in the day, was the reason why you would upgrade your PC. So amazing at the time, so cinematic. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna have a little bit more Wing Commander stuff later on in this video, but it's awesome to finally have the original Wing Commander game. He also sent me a pretty kind of obscure Sierra game called Gold Rush. And I don't think I've ever played this game, but when I posted about it on Twitter and Facebook, a lot of people seem to remember playing this game. So I think it's got a bit of a cult following. Very cool to own that. He also included a copy of a really old game called Auto Duel. And it's funny on here because it basically says it was made by Lord British and Chuckles. So this is before Origin was purchased and published by Electronic Arts. Cool to own that classic game there. And then he sent me one of my bucket games, one of many I've added recently, but this is a role-playing game that I absolutely loved when it came out. I think today it doesn't necessarily hold up really well, but I don't care, I loved it. And that is Dark Sun Shattered Lands, and this is the big box version of it. Been looking to get this back in my collection for a while now, and I just, like I said, I just love this game when it first came out. It was so different than the other stuff out there. It's just really harsh, it takes place in a desert, it's very bleak, but man, it's cool. And you know, look at that dude on the front, man. He's badass. So thanks, Matt. I mentioned I traveled down to Texas, and While I was in Texas for a week, my wife was very nice to allow me to do some game hunting, which is always a bonus. So I'm gonna start with some games that I found I've been looking for quite a while. It's funny I had to travel 2,000 miles to find them, but you can't find them anywhere in Seattle, and that is for the Wii, Trackmania Build to Race. I've been looking for this racing game forever because so many people say it's one of the best racing games on the Wii. And I played a little bit of this, and I have to agree, this game is absolutely awesome. It's an arcade racing game with stunts, wacky tracks, really tight controls, and I guess it's got a really great build your own track editor in here. So I'm really excited to add that to my collection. I was also looking for a shooting collection. It's called the Ultimate Shooting Collection. Found it down in Texas, thankfully. It's funny because I've looked for a long time in the Seattle area to find these two Wii games, and they're nowhere. I don't think they sold very well, and they're kind of known to collectors. If you collect for the Wii, you want to have these games in your collection. I also found down in Texas, I don't think this game's particularly rare, but I don't care. I still really wanted to own it, and that is Mobile Light Force 2. Found a copy of that with one of quite possibly the worst covers ever. I don't know what it has to do with these Charlie's Angels looking chicks on here, but whatever, I don't know. It's a great shooter. And then a friend of mine was getting rid of his Xbox and wanted to know if I wanted it, and so I added another original Xbox to my collection, a bunch of games, including this one. I've heard great things about it. It's called Voodoo Vince. I guess this is a platforming game that is exclusive to the Xbox. Might be on the PC, I don't know, but anyways, cool to own that for the original Xbox. I was contacted by a fan of my channel, his name's Greg, and he was at a store, it's called Digital Press Video Games, and I think it's back east, and he saw a bunch of old Commodore 64 and PC games, wanted to know if I was interested in adding them to my collection, and I was like, I will take them all. You know, I love that stuff, and I just rarely run into it locally, and so it's cool that he did this. He sent a bunch of stuff to me, including the Duel. This is Test Drive 2, the Duel, and this is for the Commodore 64. I used to love this game back in the day. The Ferraris, the Porsches, the Lamborghinis in this game were so amazing, and this box is in great condition. In addition to that, he sent a really old game from Rainbird, and that's called Star Glider, again for the Commodore 64. And this is kind of, it's not a flight simulator. I want to say it's similar to maybe Battlezone mixed in with like the old Star Wars vector-based arcade game. So, and these boxes were just beautiful. Rainbird made some of the best game boxes back in the day, and this is in beautiful condition. He also included a unopened copy for the Commodore 64 of the original Space Harrier by Sega. Unopened. I mean, what are the chances of this never being ripped open? That's really cool. Great condition. Space Harrier was amazing back in the day. It's cool to own that. And then it's funny that he contacted me with these because I recently added Wing Commander, and he sending me the Wing Commander expansion packs. These are the secret missions 1 and 2 for that. That's awesome. So those are for the PC, and also Wing Commander 2. These are the special operations 1 and 2 for that. I don't yet have a copy of Wing Commander 2, but I'm working on it. Another fan of my channel was very generous and sent me some games that kind of blew me away, to be honest. His name's Mike. He knows I'm into stealth games, and he sent me some amazing stealth games. Let's start off here with Tom Clancy's Blacklist. He probably listens to the podcast where I've talked about how I was kind of waiting to get this, but I didn't have to wait. He actually sent it to me. That was really cool, and I played a bunch of this, and I'm gonna talk about this in a second because he also sent me another stealth game, Hitman Absolution. And I have to say, I played both of these, and I gotta say, I actually like Hitman better. And I know that's a shock because I am a huge Splinter Cell fan, but this game is pretty awesome. Blacklist is pretty awesome. However, occasionally it throws you into a scenario where you have to fight. You have to fight groups of people, and you can do it, you're still using the same mechanics, but I don't know, something about that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. The rest of the game was amazing. This game is surprisingly awesome. I've actually played a bunch of I've tried to play a bunch of the Hitman games before, and I've always gotten stuck not very far. This game is really well designed. I've had a ton of fun playing it. It's totally over the top. The graphics are great. The stealth mechanics are amazing, and I just feel like this is such a fun game. So if you like those kind of games, definitely check it out. But then he also included a really old stealth game. This is for the PC, really old PC, called The Last Ninja. These games on the Commodore 64 are considered absolute classics, and I bet you the PC version is really good as well, since the PC would be more than powerful enough to do it. But anyways, thanks very much, Mike. I really appreciate it. All right, and then another fan. I know, I'm amazed that you guys send me this stuff. I'm so lucky. I really appreciate it. This guy named Peter contacts me, and he's like, do you want this game? I think he might have found it somewhere. I was like, oh yeah, I'll take it. Anything Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, I will take. Any old role-playing games. This is the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Starter Kit. Now, what's cool about this is that it includes 3 classic SSI games, Pool of Radiance, Gateway to the Savage Frontier, and Champions of Krynn. And it also includes in here the clue books. So this is a pretty cool little collection of classic gold box SSI games, and man, I was really blown away. Thank you very much. This is a really cool addition to my collection. All right, and then finally, let's get to the games I'm really excited about. I mentioned I flew down to Texas, and that's a long ways away, and the first thing I did, actually before I went down there, I hopped on Craigslist, and I was like, let's see what's for sale down in Texas. And there was this one ad where this guy was selling a lot of his PC games. I mean, way more. It was an amazing collection. System Shock, System Shock 2, all the Tomb Raider games. These are all the big box games. And I by the way, I didn't pick those up because the one, I already have them, and 2, it's just like I can't get them home. I mean, I'd have to ship them to myself. But anyways, he had an amazing collection. So the games I did pick up, let's start with this one. So excited to finally get it. It's considered one of the best adventure games of all time. That is Grim Fandango. Great condition box here. So glad to finally have this in my collection. I've been wanting it for a long time. And you guys know that one of my favorite role-playing games of all time is the masterpiece, 1999 RPG of the Year, Planescape Torment. Beautiful condition box. This is such an amazing game. Even to this day, I just absolutely think that this is one of the best RPGs ever made. And I actually don't think I ever really owned this game. I think I borrowed it from a friend. Now I own it in the big box. So excited to finally get that. In addition to that, he also had another role-playing game I've been looking for, and that's called Anachronics. This is by Ion Storm, and it was released around the same time as Deus Ex and a couple other games, and it kind of fell under the radar. And I've heard that that's a real shame, because a lot of people say that this is an amazing role-playing game on the PC, really unlike anything else at the time. I guess it's supposedly really funny, really clever, great characters. Can't wait to try it. But there's more. During the mid and late 90s, a lot of game companies, including Sierra, kind of dove into and started playing around with full motion video games. And we made our share, and a lot of other companies did as well. One of the most popular and controversial games at the time, I remember working there at the time when we released this, was Roberta Williams' Phantasmagoria. This is a horror game, and it was 7 CDs long. He had a copy of this in that Craigslist ad, and I just had to have this. So cool to finally own this game. What's amazing about this, everything on the inside is completely brand new, and technically the discs are unplayed. So this is kind of a pretty cool find to add to my collection. I was really excited to add that. But that's not all. One of the companies that made some of the best full motion games was a company called Access, and he had 2 of their games in that collection I was so happy to add. The Tex Murphy interactive movies, Under a Killing Moon. This was pretty groundbreaking at the time. Really high production value. Actors on green screen and blue screen, and just so amazing. But really the better game, I think, is the Pandora Directive. This game, even today, is hilarious. As a matter of fact, I'm replaying this game on my Mac. I recently downloaded for just a couple bucks off of GOG.com this game, and I'm playing through it, and I gotta tell you, it's amazing. It's like so funny, really great puzzles, awesome dialogue. It's a pretty cool game. I was really happy to find these. He had another game in his collection I was really happy to add to mine, and that is the PC version of Final Fantasy VII. Now you notice that this is a really interesting looking trapezoid box. Beautiful condition. It's actually kind of collectible. These can go for a pretty penny online, and this is in great condition. Eidos did this for a bunch of their games at the time. They did it for this, they did it for the Thief games. They use these boxes for, I guess, the Tomb Raider series, a bunch of stuff like that. Really, really interesting and kind of unique to that company. It's great to own this. Now this is the first way that I played Final Fantasy VII. I played it on the PC, and it was great for the time because the polygon characters were actually slightly upgraded. They were a little bit higher resolution. They looked pretty good. So it's really cool to finally own this and put it back in my collection. And then finally, I was down in Texas and going through a local retro gaming store, and I was going through the different aisles and different games, and I was looking in the Intellivision aisle. The Intellivision boxes are kind of way down by the floor, and mixed in with those was a game I was really shocked to see, because it's not an Intellivision game, it's a Commodore 64 classic that you never find on shelves, and that is Ultima-the, The Revenge of the Enchantress. I was like, what? You never find this game anymore. It's so damn old. Really cool. I can't remember how much I paid for it. I want to say $5 or $10. The box is not in great condition, so it's definitely kind of beat up. It's probably been sitting there for years and years and years, and I'm the first person to even look at it. But man, the Ultima games are becoming so incredibly hard to find. Really excited to pick this up. Although my friend Matt is trying to complete his Ultima collection. So as much as I love this, actually, I'm going to do a trade with him very soon and get some amazing stuff. But you guys, you'll see that on the next video. All right, guys, well, that is just some of the games I've added to my collection over the last couple months. I've actually added a lot more. I just didn't have time to show you guys. But, you know, and I say it every single time, but I'm just amazed and frankly blown away by the amazing fans I have of my videos and of my channel. You guys really take care of me. I really appreciate it. I get emails often from people who are out looking, and they'll find some really weird or obscure PC game in like a pawn shop or a thrift store, and they'll email me and like, do you want it, or is this you know, worth anything? And it's just so cool to have like this army of people out there looking for PC games and who donate them or trade with me. I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. As always, I want to thank you for watching my channel, and thank you very much for subscribing. Take care.